Hey guys, what's up? This is Stephanie Fleitas here with CreatingWithin.com, your place to get in touch with your inner world. Today's topic is on practicing being open and honest. I recently did a video called The Truth is For You, and I want to elaborate a little bit more on this topic and also share with you a story or two from my life to illustrate the practice of being open and honest. The truth is for you isn't about imposing our views or beliefs on other people. The truth is for you simply means honoring your feelings and being truthful with yourself about yourself and being truthful with yourself to others and eventually the world, and how you feel, how you think, and how you see the world. But you're always coming from a place of love and compassion. It's not about justifying negative behaviors and not about imposing yourself on others through your truth. It simply means having enough courage to speak your truth, whatever that may be for you, and being able to be your authentic self with others and the world at all times. So I'm going to start off this video with sharing a story of my life with you guys. So this story, I like the story because it's a little funny and it's a little kooky. I was in an interesting phase in my life. And I think it's a really funny story, but at the same time, it's a great illustration of what it means to be transparent and honest with others. So a while back, I had recently met someone, and we had been dating for about a month. And we got pretty close in this month because I had already gone to go see his family and all that. And from the beginning, when I first met him, what I did with this meeting and this interaction, when I first met him, he got me in a period of my life where I had just reemerged and reopened to my spiritual side because I had shut down that side of myself for a long time. So around the time that we met, I had just happened to reopen that side of my life, and I was going to these spiritual meetings, which sometimes were about intuitive development, and other times it was about spirits coming in and speaking through people and giving messages to the group or to individual people. So when we met, I was really honest with him from the beginning, and I told him, I said, listen, I'm in a place in my life where I want to practice what it means to be really transparent and really honest with someone, because it's something that I wanted to work on. So I was really honest with him where I was, and when I met him, I was like, I'm going to be really open and transparent with you. And from the very beginning, I was myself. I shared who I was from the very beginning, even from our first date, not even knowing anything that he believed in, but I was myself. And one day I go to my spirit meeting group, and in that meeting group, no one had really known that I was seeing anybody or how I felt about this person or anything. And at the end of the group, the leader, who's now a good friend of mine, but at the time he led the group, and his spirits talk through him, and he gives messages to different people. So that day, they hadn't said anything to me. At the very end, before we leave, they're like, Stephanie, and I was like, oh crap. He turns to me, and Spirit talks to him and basically tells me that that I need to slow down because the person that I'm with, it's not what I think it is. And I'm like I'm just looking, and I'm like, okay. And he's like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And I'm like, what? So he's kind of hesitant. He doesn't want to say. I was just like, just say it. And he's like, well, they tell you, don't put all your eggs in one basket because it's not what you think it is. This isn't the person that's going to get you to where you need to go. He's not the one for you. And so at this point, I'm like just like stunned. I'm like, the fuck? Because, not just because he said that, because I've been around the whole psychic stuff for a very long time. The reason that I was so stunned is because, I gotta just give you this point so you understand where I was at in that point in my life. Prior to that in my life, I had gone through a period where I went through somewhat of an obsessive phase. It's kind of like really embarrassing to admit, but I'm just going to put all my stuff out there because this is how we learn and grow, is through sharing. I was obsessed with like finding the one because I knew that I had this mission. I've always known I've had something, a great purpose in this experience. But at the same time, I've always had this really big yearning to be in a relationship. I'm somebody who enjoys being in a relationship, but I want to find a partner that we can be on the same wavelength and that can support this path that I'm going on. So I got myself a little obsessed with wanting to find the one. And I had been told, I know, it's kind of embarrassing to admit, but I had been told that I was going to meet the one, and there's this person who's supposed to be the one that's going to help me, that together would be able to help me get to where I need to get in my path, spiritual path, or whatever, purpose. Anyways, point is that when I met this person, I wasn't really thinking so much about that, but I was enjoying it. And then at the same time, I had just started opening up to myself again. So I just started learning how to trust myself. And now here comes Spirit and it's like, by the way, the person you're dating is not the one, because you're not going to get to where you need to get with him. So don't be so excited to put all of it, like enjoy it, but he's not the one. At that point, I'm like, oh my God, like I just wanted to like go run and hide somewhere, because I'm like, my insides were just like, oh my God, because I had been through so much emotionally leading up to that already in the previous year, with this obsession of trying to find the one, and then finally I meet someone that I vibe with, and I just started getting to know him, and all of a sudden now it's like, yeah, he's not the one that's gonna get you to where you need to get. He's not your one. I know that sounds crazy, but anyways, let's just illustrate the point here. So I'm like, I start crying because I'm just like, you know, here I go, I just started trusting myself, and now I have this information that just was presented to me that now is just adding confusion to me, and it's now making me doubt and making me all weird. So with that information, long story short, one night we were laying in bed and he was just like, what's wrong, what's wrong? He could tell there was like a shift in my energy, because obviously I was in my head. I was like trying to process this information, and I was like, you know what, I really wanted to tell him, but a part of me was so scared to tell him, because I'm like, this is like not something you tell someone. Like if there's any time to not say something to someone, would be this. So I'm like scared, because I'm like, oh my God, what is he gonna think? But I was like, you know what, screw it, because I entered this whole interaction on the premise that I wanted to be completely transparent. So I'm gonna see this through the end, because that's how it started. So I was like, so I told him, and it was a very uncomfortable conversation to have, to tell somebody that you're dating, who, mind you, is a science mind type of person, to say, hey, yeah, I went to my spirit group meeting, and Spirit told me that you're not the person that I'm meant to be with. Who says that, you know? Think about it. Who says that? So that's like crazy. That's like insanity right there. I can't believe I was telling him that. But I wanted to see it through, and so I told him. And you know what? It was the most amazing experience, because this could have gone two ways. It was either he was going to think I was crazy. This is just crazy. I'm out of here. Or he was going to just be cool and understand. And that's what happened. He was like, of course he was like a little taken back by it. He's a little weirded out. He's like, what the fuck? Like, you know, but he was understanding with me, and like we talked about it, and he really showed concern, and we were able to like really talk about my feelings. So we were able to dig into that topic more and allow me to express myself about how I was feeling about the situation, no matter how silly it may seem now. At the moment, it wasn't. And it was a great experience, because he was understanding, he was compassionate about it, and instead of making us further apart, it actually got us closer together. Point is, I illustrate the story to you because there is a saying that sometimes people say, oh, some secrets are better left unsaid, or there's certain things you just don't tell people. That would be one of them. That would be one of them. When you first meet someone that you're just dating, to tell them something like that, when it hasn't even been that long, like that's kind of risky, you know? But it's the most liberating feeling when you can just put all your stuff out there and really say what's on your mind. And even sometimes we're thinking things and we're confused and we have irrational thoughts sometimes. So be able to share irrational thoughts with someone and to be able to work through them, that's powerful. So that's why I want to talk to you guys and stress to you about the importance about being open and truthful in all aspects of your life. This is just one aspect. I'm using this in relationships because that's an area of my life that I am working on. I am pretty transparent and very open in a lot of other areas of my life, but in particular, that's one that I want to strengthen. So it's liberating and it's freeing and it's empowering when you can just be your authentic self and share yourself, good and bad, with another, and not being afraid of having uncomfortable conversations or saying things that you may think on a personality level is going to make you look bad, and maybe it's going to make the other person not like you. And you know what? The more transparent that we can be with each other, the quicker we can sort through the BS too. And it's either going to, when you're being transparent, it either allows a person to rise up and meet you there, or not, and exit. So you know what, sometimes if being truthful and people can't handle who you are and they start exiting your life, well then that's a good thing, because then you're kind of going through the process of eliminating people that maybe shouldn't be in your life if they can't accept you for who you are. And then it's showing you those who could handle you. Because that's the same thing with my friendship. My best friend and I have been friends for 11 years now. And she was my first true friend that I've had, my first real friend. And the reason that we are so close is because she was the first person that I met when I was 17 that made me feel accepted and loved for who I am. And we have built a relationship that's based solely on growth and transparency. Our entire 11 years has always been about growth. So we tell each other, we call each other our mirrors. Because whenever I need my stuff mirrored back, or she needs her stuff mirrored back, we know who to call. Because I know that I'm going to get the truth from her. Even in times that I don't want to hear it. There's some times that I don't want to hear the truth. And there's sometimes I don't call her and I avoid her because I'm not ready to face my own stuff, and vice versa. But those are the kinds of relationships that are priceless. Those are the kinds of relationships you want to have. You want to have people who are going to be truthful, who are going to be honest with you, who are going to be able to share all of themselves with you, good and bad. I'm crazy. I have crazy stories. I do such crazy and stupid things, and I go through so many different patterns in my life and ways of being. And the people who are close to me know all the sides of me, good, bad, crazy, whatever. And they accept it, and it's such a liberating feeling where you can just be more and more and more of yourself. And those are the only type of relationships I want to have in my life, and I hope that those are the only type of relationships you want to experience in your life, to be able to have the freedom to be who you are and to share yourself completely with others. So I invite you guys to use your next relationship or an interaction as an experiment, as a tool, as a practice to practice your truth and practice your transparency. And the reason I say this, to do it when you first meet someone that you may have an interest in, is because when you first meet someone, you haven't made any initial investments. You haven't invested any time, any energy, any emotions, and you don't even really know the person. So when people don't really know each other, you don't really care as much what somebody thinks about you when they don't know you. A lot of times we care what people think once we care about them, once we love them, once the emotion is there. Now we start caring about how they see us. But when we first don't really know someone, we don't really care about how they think about us most of the time. So it's a great opportunity and tool to use practicing your authenticity and your truthful and your transparency with someone you just met, because you have nothing to lose. You have no investment. So you use this opportunity, this new person that came into your life that you might have an interest in. Practice being transparent, practice being as open as you can be. And you can even go as far as letting the person know, hey, this is where I'm at in my life. I have done this before. And I'm in a place where I'm trying to practice what it is to be really transparent and honest. So I'm going to be as honest as I can be with you. That sets the tone for the relationship. Just putting that mindset and making that decision and even sharing it with the other person, it's such a cool and fun experience. But I will warn you that as you start getting more and more close with this person, because what transparency does, the more transparent you can be with the person, the closer it bonds you. It just creates a space for a genuine bonding experience. So emotions will start coming into the picture. And a lot of times when we are emotionally involved with someone, that's when we get out of our heart center and we get into our head. And now we start caring more about what the other person thinks about us than what we think. And that's when behaviors start shifting in people. So that's when you're going to be tested, and sometimes you're not going to want to be as transparent, because now you're going to think, I don't ever want to tell him or her this because I don't know how they're going to think, and I don't want to rock the boat, or I don't want to lose them. So now you start caring, because now there's an investment. Emotions have been invested in. But that's when you have to dig deeper and keep going, because it's only going to take that relationship, that interaction to the next level. But most importantly, it's going to take you to new levels within yourself, because you will find parts of yourself that you didn't even know existed. And the feeling of confidence and of strength that you get within when you can just be completely honest with someone is very liberating. So I hope you guys try it, and that you use this tool in your life to to practice being more open and honest with those around you and with yourself. Please feel free to share this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you like the content here on creatingwithin.com, and check out Creating Within for more tools and information to help you on your inner world. Bye guys.